Arnold wants to sue the oil companies for killing people. Yeah, I mean, okay, go for it. I think this is actually a good plan. I'm so bewildered at this article. It was sent by Marcia Smith, Patreon supporter. Marcia, thank you so much. Get well soon. I'm all for suing the oil companies, and maybe this is what we need. Crazy wingnut Terminator, Republican governor of California. Okay, yeah, who's accused of groping women, and I guess he's apologizing for it. Oh man, every day it gets a little nuttier out here, doesn't it? It was in the Daily News, the New York Daily News. It's in the show notes below. Arnold Schwarzenegger plans to sue oil companies for, quote, killing people. He was at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, which is Austin's awesome. I've been to South by. It's a fantastic festival. He was a live recording of Politico's Off Message podcast this past Sunday. He, or like a week ago, said he's revealing a plan to sue oil companies. And he's drawing the comparison, basically saying they've known since the 50s, just like the tobacco companies, the big lawsuits that hit the tobacco companies in the 90s, they knew and hid the information, which is a great way to go at it. Here's his quote. The oil companies knew from 1959 on, they did their own studies that there would be global warming happening because of the fossil fuels, and on top of it, they said they're risky for other people's lives that it would kill. That's a horrible impression. I won't do anymore. Impressions aren't my strength. He said, we're going to go after them. We're going to be on there like an Alabama tick. All right, Arnold. Because to me, it's absolutely irresponsible to know that your product is killing people and not have a warning label on it, like tobacco. He hasn't established a date for it. He said he's talking to some law firms on how he's going to do this. And he said this, I don't think there's any difference. If you walk into a room and you know you're going to kill someone, it's first-degree murder, he said. I think it's the same thing with the oil companies. He appears to be talking about oil companies' disastrous effect on the environment as a whole. He could just as he would be referring to an incident that saw 10 activists get tortured and killed in Nigeria. The victims' families accused Shell Oil of working with the Nigerian government to silence them, with the case ultimately ending in a $15.5 million payout. This is what the oil companies will do. They don't play fair. So why I think actually this might be a good thing is because he's a public figure and he's going to get a lot of press. And if he's going to just come right out and say oil companies are murdering people, how are you going to silence him? I mean, you can try to pay him off, but he's got more money than anybody. He probably gets $5 million a year in residual checks, which is plenty to pay off all of these accusations of being a creepy groper. And, you know, knocking up his nanny, whatever. You know, he's got some issues he's got to deal with. Hollywood, huh? But he's, you know, and I don't know if this is like he doesn't want to go down in flames like Harvey Weinstein because there's a bunch more accusations coming his way. So he wants to be some sort of hero for the environment, which, I don't know. It's awful. He, you know, 6 women came forward in 2003 to say that when he was running as governor, he touched them without consent. You know, and he said, you've got to take these things seriously. You've got to look at it and say, I made mistakes and I have to apologize. Okay. If he's got some awful thing we're going to find out like Harvey Weinstein, then fuck him and I don't want him near the environment. If he grabbed women inappropriately, that's awful, that's rude, and he should apologize. But I'm so torn because the climate is the most important thing. Without it, like we are in the middle of the 6th extinction. This is such a tongue twister. 6th extinction event. It's happening. It's not going to happen. It's not like it could happen. It's happening. We had 7 hurricanes. Sea levels are rising. So we gotta fight this however we can. And if getting this Hollywood guy in there is going to get a lot of press on it and maybe win a big lawsuit against the oil companies and scare people into investing into oil and start putting money into green, then ultimately it's a good thing. Yeah. I'm just bewildered that I'm saying, like, I want to save the environment, because without it, we're all going to die. So it's that simple. And so however we got to do it. And if it means this former bad governor of the state of California that I did not vote for, I didn't vote for Gray Davis either. He was a corrupt Democrat. I voted for the Green candidate. Yeah. So I appreciate, I'm sorry, I'm so bewildered. I appreciate Marcia Smith submitting this article. And ultimately, it is actions like this. We need to sue the oil companies. We need to go after them, and we need big public resistance against them. And in some cases, it's like walkouts or strikes or blockades or whatever, like Standing Rock. In some cases, those help too. But legally fighting them, going after them, and just getting the discussion in the mainstream media of they've killed people, they knew their products killed people, and then it opens the door. If their products are so dangerous, what's an alternative? And then green, and then start investing in green and get some politicians, some real progressives. See, this is all tied in. I always talk about this. It's a midterm election year. This year is more important, in my opinion, than even 2020. Because if we don't get real progressives in 2018, the Democrats are going to put up another corporate Democrat in 2020 and whatever. Woo, Trump. Nothing new will change, and we'll all go down in flames as the environment slowly collapses societies, governments. There'll be civil war. There'll be fights over clean water. There'll be no infrastructure. It'll be awful in the next 40, 50 years, if not sooner. So ultimately, I'm glad action movie star, sex creep Arnold Schwarzenegger is doing this lawsuit. And I hope more big name people like this were to join in these types of lawsuits. This is what it's going to take. Thanks for watching the show, and thank you, Marcia Smith, for supporting it. If you guys want to support the show, go to the Patreon link is below, patreon.com/Graham Elwood. You can support the show, get free content, and you get to some of the levels like this one, you get a say in what I cover and what I talk about. I can interview you on Skype, a lot of cool stuff. Thanks for watching.